President Obama says not much happens in Russia without Vladimir Putin knowing about it. That was as close as he would come, without directly saying that his Russian counterpart was directly behind the hackings that Democrats insist contributed to Hillary Clinton's defeat. It was the dominant topic in the president's end-of-the-year news conference before leaving for vacation in Hawaii. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen was there and reports tonight live from the White House briefing room. Good evening, James.
Brett, good evening. This appears to be the first time that President Obama himself has attributed both major hacks in this political cycle of the Democratic National Committee and of Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta to the Kremlin. And the president was hardly subtle in imputing to Vladimir Putin direct culpability in those operations. Appearing unfazed by the latest allegations from the White House, Russian President Vladimir Putin wrapped up 2 days of talks in Tokyo with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe aimed at expanding economic ties. Back in Moscow, the Kremlin challenged President Obama to put his money where his mouth has been on claims that Russia hacked the email accounts of the Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta to tilt the 2016 election to Donald Trump. They should either stop talking about that or produce some proof at last, said Putin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, adding, otherwise it all begins to look unseemly. At his year-end news conference, President Obama said the administration will release a report, albeit a rather incomplete one, outlining the underlying intelligence before Mr. Trump is sworn in.
The intelligence that I've seen gives me great confidence in their assessment that the Russians carried out this hack. The hack of the DNC and the hack of John Podesta. But I'll be honest with you, when you're talking about cybersecurity, a lot of it is classified, and we're not going to provide it.
Earlier, Mr. Obama vowed to NPR, not for the first time, to retaliate against Russia in a quote-unquote proportionate way.
We need to take action, and we will, at a time and place of our own choosing. Some of it may be explicit and publicized. Some of it may not be. But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
While his administration has rebuffed a request from House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes for a briefing on the claims of Russian cyber meddling, President Obama referred to an assessment to that effect reached by the Central Intelligence Agency. At his news conference, Mr. Obama implied that that assessment is, quote, uniform across all 17 of the nation's spy agencies.
Unless the American people genuinely think that the professionals in the CIA, the FBI, our entire intelligence infrastructure are less trustworthy than the Russians, then people should pay attention to what our intelligence agencies say.
Mr. Obama stopped short of directly accusing President Putin of orchestrating the hack attacks, but left little doubt of the view from the White House.
And I will let you make that determination as to whether there are high-level Russian officials who go off rogue and decide to tamper with the U.S. election process without Vladimir Putin knowing about it.
And the president defended his actions in the thick of the campaign when, according to him, the White House disclosed Russia's involvement but otherwise sought to avoid the appearance of law enforcement agencies intervening on Hillary Clinton's behalf.
And part of the goal here was to make sure that we did not do the work of the leakers for them by raising more and more questions about the integrity of the election right before the election was taking place.
Tonight, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Devin Nunes of California, a Republican, rebuffed in that request for a special briefing on these claims for his committee, said in a statement, and I quote, "I am alarmed that supposedly new information continues to leak to the media, but has not been provided to Congress." Brett?
James, I know this was the president's last press conference of the year, but was it his last press conference?
I asked him that as he was leaving the room, and he said with a smile that he enjoyed this and he'll have to think about that.
We'll see. James Rosen at the White House. James, thank you.